Okay, we're back. We're going to do some item shopping. Show me the item system we had going on for this game. So I'm going to use my last game again because, well, I have a lot of money saved up. So we are at Neko, the corrupt shopkeeper. So normally in Warcraft 3 you can sell items, but I was like, no, I don't want you to be able to sell items. So you can only drop them. What I did have was, a lot of people complained about it, but it was pretty. I wanted to differentiate my item system from Dota at the time. So I had item classes. So helms, like you'll see the colored keyword. So each keyword had a interesting, like it had a limit on it, how many you could have. You can have 2 materia, 2 relics, and 1 of anything else. Pretty sure that was the limit. So if I try to buy, I have 2 material already. If I try to buy this, it'll say inventory is full, first of all. But if I empty it and go try to buy a poison materia, it'll say you can only carry 2 materia, and it'll drop it. And if I try to pick it up again, you can only carry 2 materia. So I'd have to pick which one I wanted. Drop it. So a lot of people complain because they would make a purchase they didn't know they couldn't make because I didn't explain it very well. Totally understandable. But I was working within the confines of this inventory system, and I would have done things a little differently. So you'd have your materia. So I tried to use icons that would match them. So if it's a magic materia, it was the magic color from Final Fantasy VII. And then if it was a passive materia, you'd get the purple. And if it gave you some ability, like the command ones, it would have yellow. So /all just gives you a cleave. And sense would let you, it was like dust, but it allowed you to counter certain stealth heroes. Edge can go stealthy good, and something else was. Then there were relics, so you can have 2 relics. So usually almost everybody started off with either earrings or Tentinabar, and then a potion. And then you'd use your early mist to hire your chocobo. So you can. So if you didn't want to repick, basically, chocobos were what you'd spend if you didn't want to buy your chocobo. We'll get there. Okay. So relics. So each row had this one was mainly for magic users, and this one was mainly for tanks, and this one was for everyone. Back when you had to buy boots. Armor. There were the 3 classes of armor, and they each had a theme. So helms would give you armor and HP regen, but also something else depending on what it was. So the haste helm would let you move faster. So this was boots on a helmet, so you didn't have to buy boots. Stuff like that. The wooden shield was, or shields. There was an interesting passive for somebody, one of the newer heroes from Frozen Throne. I think it was the mountain. Big giant rock dudes. Mountain giants. So they had a % chance to block a specific amount of damage. But on it was also magic resistance. It was pretty cool, like, ability in the editor. You could give it magic resist as well. So, but you couldn't give it a % chance. The magic resist was always on. It was shared with like some other ability. So my shields were like, oh, that's exactly how shields work in Final Fantasy Tactics. So I'm going to make these shields like that, so they have a chance to block, and they give you magic resist as well. And this one would give you an armor aura, This one just had a really high chance to block, or really high magic resistance. And then the Genji shield. But all the Genji equipment was like the best in slot until you got uniques. Then armor just gave you HP and armor. So this was chance to block and magic resist. This was armor and HP regen, and this was armor. So each of the classes had different types. Then we had gauntlets. Their theme was to add some damage and attack speed. They were good for auto-attacking heroes like Chrono and Frog to get their passives out more. Berserker Gauntlet was for the ones that really wanted to just attack and didn't have the best abilities. Economizer was for magic users, so it gives mana regen aura. And then there were a bunch of items that had dispels on them because there were a lot of really strong, long, lengthy debuffs. You were like, oh, I'm up against one of those characters. Get to lose. Caster abilities, so we have weapons, you can only have one of weapon. Gauntlets, you can only have one gauntlet, one helm, one shield, one armor. So the weapons, these were mainly for casters. There were rods, and then bows, staffs, and each of them had a slightly different. Each of them were pretty unique. But all of the bows added damage to your ranged attack. They had like a little passive. Yeah, ranged heroes attacks by 40, but it would do nothing for anybody else. All of the rods had an ability that would be used on them, and all the staffs had some kind of thing that matched each one of them. Right. And then the melee ones, which were still being done up, but you had they were all damage and stats for damage. And you could take those and combine them, just like Dota. So I had the item combination system. So if you had a poison materia and a fire materia, I think I have a poison. Or let's make this. I drop my other materia because I pick up two. Pick up my poison materia, and if I buy fire materia now, and then if I buy this, which I don't have enough mist for, then those two items will combine and create Cactrot materia. So that would allow you to summon Cactrot, who can do 300 needles on all units around him. So this for the materia, it was all summons. So Carbuncle, you could summon and he would cast Reflect, protecting them from magic for 8 seconds. It gave everyone a magic immune bar. So this was kind of like the Black King bar. Ifrit was just a big, huge area summon. Odin, he would. I think Odin was pretty cool, if I remember. But he would charge around and slice things up. Phantom, everybody gets invisibility. So it's kind of like the Tyrande ult in Heroes of Storm. Ramuh would summon and zap nearby, so it was kind of like the Umra ult from last video. And then I had to create Shiva. So Shiva would freeze anybody for 2 seconds, preventing your escape. So it was a big AoE disable. So if you were running and you were behind, you could probably build that and win a team fight with it. Then you could upgrade relics. So one gives you 40% evade. Most of these were taken from different games already. So, Realms Brush, create a sketch that deals 100% damage. So create a sketch was like, so there were, you could use mirror image, right? So I put mirror image on the brush, so you could cast this on anything and it would make a mirror image of it, and then it would fight for you as a mirror image. It's a pretty cool idea, I think. Yep. Most of them were passive stats. Yeah. Pretty much passive stats. This one was cool. The Cursed Shield. So you could get it pretty quick because it was actually one of the cheaper combos to buy. But it makes you cursed for 5 minutes. So it would lower your stats. But so lower your MP regen by 300%, your move speed by 10, your attack speed by 25, and your magic resist by 25. You would just be like super weak and slow for 5 minutes. But after those 5 minutes, it would turn into the Paladin Shield. And the Paladin Shield basically had all of those stats in reverse. So you'd be 10% faster, 300% more mana regen, 25% attack speed and magic. It was pretty cool. Crazy item. A lot of people would rush it. I think I made it a bit too OP, but Thief Hat would give you the Blade Master's ability, is where you're invisible for a while and then you get the back strike. I forget what it was called. Windwalk. Mage's Hat is just a really good hat for magic users. Zephyr Cape, Evasion, Force Shield, with really high magic resist first. So you'd get this if they had got a team full of nukers. Minerva was an armor with magic resist. The only one that had that armor. And then Genji armor was the best in-slot armor for defense. Physical attacks, 10 armor, 300 HP. Then the ultimate casters, we had the Holy Bow. It was an orb effect, so it would random 10% or something chance to do 100 damage to the target. And then it would increase your damage. It's like all the other bows, it would increase the range damage, attack speed. Gravity Rod has a chance of casting Demi upon attack, which deals 4% of their max HP to all units within the 200 area. Metal Engine was a special dictionary from Tactics. Adds 5 null stats, extra 10 intelligence, and 50 HP. It was like crazy good caster item, stat-wise. This one was you had to manually cast this holy spell, but it was a 150 damage nuke on 18-second cooldown. It didn't cost you mana, so that was good. And the Dispel Rod, it would neutralize magic. It was like a chain lightning that would bounce around and get rid of all buffs and debuffs that good or bad on the respective targets. So if you were an ally, it would remove a debuff. If you were an evil person, it would remove any buffs you might have. And then this is where it's really at. Cool item, or the unique weapons. Illumina would cast Holy on attack and huge damage. This would cast Flare, which was more AoE on attack. I think these were both random, pretty low chance. Drain Sword would give you a vampiric aura. So really good for melee assassin. class heroes. Cat Claws. Super high attack speed. Black Sword, Dark Knight's ultimate weapon, randomly casts Swoon, dealing an extra 300 damage. So it was a really low chance, but it was thematically supposed to... I think I actually had it coded that if Dark Cecil bought this one, he had a slightly higher chance of Swoon. Swap it out for a different version of the same item. Buster Sword. Two Soldiers. Cleaving attack. Crystal Sword. I'm just seeing these again for the first time in 10 years, so I've got to read them as much as you guys, but... this one gave you a crit passive if you didn't have one already. 15% chance at bonus damage. And... I think the Holy Spear was just a different version of it with Cleave. We land. Death Scythe was Magus's unique. It would damage anything you would hit got slowed. And then Excalibur was just really strong damage. I think it's the highest damage one. 40. Yeah, so if you've already got an attack speed buff or whatever, you would buy Excalibur. Or a crit buff. So there were more in the past, but that's that. Seventh Heaven, you could buy just things you would buy at the regular Final Fantasy store. So Sleeping Bag, we'll buy one because they're fun. So when you're out in the wild, you can use a sleeping bag, which was... I just picked a model that looked like a sleeping bag. It was a worm. And it was basically a portable fountain, so that would lose life over time. So eventually it'll die, but say I cast some abilities. I'm out of range of this, but I should... Oh, it must be HP only for... Yeah. It's HP only for that one. Yeah, these are... Cabin would give you life and mana. So I was like, how do I make items that feel Final Fantasy? I get these Final Fantasy items. This one would hire Biggs and Wedge, which were obviously the heavy mortar team. And their only thing was that they could go around and repair stuff. So you could buy a Biggs and Wedge and hire them and have them repair stuff. I don't know if you could have more than one. Gotta find out. Dwarven Demolitionist. So that's why you had lots of food, because you could have your chocobos that were amazing, but you could have these guys. You could hire an enterprise that would siege the bases, and you could hire a falcon for cheaper that was really good at killing enterprises. Enterprise was kind of like a siege tank that you could attack a tower as long as you had sight of it. And it would do lots of damage. But falcons were super fast and could just zip around and kill the enterprise real quick. Skill scan, what do you do? Oh, good. My dude's just wiped out the base, so it's good. But he had True Sight to reveal nearby enemy units, and he would spell magical buffs. This is what happens when you win. It would tell you where you can find us. That was our channel, and that was our website. So, I'll restart this. Finish my time talking. Start on the evil side for my next set of videos. Meanwhile. I had one more. I just had to go through the chocobos. Right. Well, that won't work because I'm not the host. The host was only the number 1 slot on good. Gotta wait for somebody. Quickly do this, and then we'll do a video on the evil heroes, because I realized I didn't get into them. Okay, so I was in middle of 7th Heaven. Yeah, these guys kind of were helped people push, and so they were good. You wouldn't necessarily buy them a lot early, but you might save up for them, and everybody would buy an enterprise that could keep them in the base, and then everybody sends all their after they've. You can buy some more. You can send them all in. Some demolitionists, which is suicidal. Yeah, potions. So I had instant heals, which, frowned upon in modern MOBA design, but I didn't really have a lot of heal over time skills, so I kind of liked them actually. Then these would heal to everybody. Elixir heals everybody. Mega Elixir heals everyone near you. These were just health mana, both. Zephyr Feather would reveal visible units. No gold, 30. Good counter. Certain OP stealth heroes like Ozzy, I think. And then we have wards. Eye of Jirai. And then, oh yeah, if you wanted to, you could convert. So 1,000 gil would become 100 mist, and then 100 mist could become 1,200. So, I want to repick more and stuff. Chocobos, you could hire a yellow chocobo that would heal you. White chocobo that would heal your mana. Blue chocobo that would cast Chocobosuna, so it had the Dryad's Dispel. Get rid of stuff. Yeah, debuffs. LK, I think he had Roar, because we used to always say Rar. So he was a bear. And, yeah. Red Chocobo would drop Choco Meteors, a long range stun nuke. So everybody could buy one of these and have a stunning comp, and yeah, it was kind of broken for a bit, but it's still fun. Black Chocobo, area effect, armor and damage buff for everyone. And then Gold Chocobo had the sprint. The orcs had that sprint scroll. Well, he had that as an ability. Okay, so that's all of my items. At a certain point in the development, it was all... You had to pick up recipes from the ground, and I decided to make it just like Dota so people would stop complaining. But I had, or new players would stop complaining. So, anyway, I'm going to go show off some of these evil heroes in my next video.